allow me to do something different, because I understand that some of you might be leaving the panel now to attend to a requiem mass for the late Johanna Ngeno, the MP for Emurua Dikir, who passed on at the weekend. And so I'll do something different. I want to give each one of you a minute just to give your message of condolence on his passing on. Then we'll come back and continue, finish up our conversations. Let's start with you, Senator Mongatano, on this one.
So first of all, I want to say the people of Emurua Dikir, they lost a great man, a good man. When Johanna Ngeno was a chair of the committee in charge of lands and housing, he came to Tana River County and we hosted him there and we had a very good time. So what I know about him is after the work, he was interested in seeing where are the crocodiles, where's the river Tana, so we took him there, a big portion in Hola. And I told him, Mheshimiwa, you can enter the canoe so that you have a feeling. He said, no. And I told him, man, you're a strong man. What? So I said, no. And actually the sergeant at arms came and said, no, we are not going to allow members of parliament. But I said, there's nothing wrong. He didn't have time to join us in the crocodile feast afterwards, but a humorous man, a good man, a gentleman. That's what I know about him. And so we lost a good man, and we wish the young widow strength, the family strength, during this time. God has a way of also helping people to rise to the occasion. So we wish them well, and we pray for them in this difficult time. That's all I would say.
Thank you. Senator Nyoto.
I also would want to, first of all, send my deepest condolences to the family of the late Johanna Ngeno, whom he has represented for 3 consecutive terms. This is one of the most courageous leaders of our time, who was very forthright in pointing out any violation of the rights of his people, and we remember him for having opposed very strongly the reported attempt at land grabbing in his constituency, and everybody saw him confronting the police who had opened fire on the residents of that particular, I think it was Angata, someplace. And so this was a very courageous man, a man who really wanted to serve his people, a man who valued life, a man who was very much opposed to violation of human rights, and a man who thought that the police must be responsible with the arms that they are given to protect life and property and not to hurt Kenyans. And so we wish the family, the young family, all the best, and we want to tell them that because God, directs everything, that the destiny of the wife and the children will be directed by God, because God is faithful. And finally, there must be an independent investigation into that chopper crash. And I'm not saying that I'm suspicious of anything, but we know that in the past we have had, such accidents that were basically not just, accidents. And so that is why, especially for somebody who was opposed to land grabbing of a very big chunk of land, which of course was reported to have some strong people, powerful people in government were reported to have had an interest. We must conduct a very independent and comprehensive investigation into that crash, just to be sure that there was no foul play in that particular crash. Otherwise, rest in peace, Johanna Ngeno.
Okay, thank you. I want to take this opportunity to pass a word of condolences to the family of my friend Honorable Johanna Ngeno, the people of Emurua Dikir, and the artist whom he really supported up to the last day. In fact, from before the crash, he was coming from a function supporting artist who are coming up. So we really want to say to the artists, you have missed somebody who you relied upon in terms of developing your talents, to the entire music industry, and to the people who really fought with the Mheshimiwa Ngeno in terms of bringing justice in terms of the land issues that was happening in around those areas of Angata, Paraguay, and the entire Gilgoris and Mukwadikire. I knew Joanna Ngeno personally. He was a great friend of mine. He has come to my place severally. We are all the functions. I think he has attended over 10 functions in my constituency. We have had a meal together in my home, and we have actually lost a leader whom his future looked bright, and what we know from the preliminary information that we have, because I was in Eldoret at that time, and we went to receive the bodies at the MTRH, and the accident was horrific. And the weather wasn't good. I don't want to blame the pilot per se, but I think he could have done better in terms of looking at the visibility, which he had actually done an emergency landing, only to go again after around 10 minutes to try to fly. So it is rather sad that we lose one of the most aspiring leaders within the Kalenjin land in that manner. So we say to our brother, rest in peace, and as you had said, your spirits will live on. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, Madam Busaris.
Joanna Ngeno, he was the chair of the Housing Committee where I'm a member. A very, very good leader. We went around the whole country touring and looking at inspecting projects. I don't think there's a constituency or a county that he didn't go where there was a project. He has steered the Housing Committee from inception, because it's a new committee in this parliament. And for me, he worked very hard. He was visionary. He had a very good relationship with the head of state. You can't be a chair of a committee that is so crucial to the presidency if you don't have a very good relationship. And for us as a committee, we know that he had that good relationship. I would love one day in the future to read about the kingpin of the Kipsigis, because everybody used to call him kingpin, and I think it's a position he took with pride. What I feel sad about this country is how leaders sometimes say things without thinking and without sensitivity. We have a young widow, Naya, and her children, and here you are, probably even before she had heard the news, just because you got the information, you're in a public rally and you announce it. There is this decorum and this human way of dealing with accidents like that, where you don't make an announcement until you know that the next of kin have been informed. So that for me was very wrong. And then there's also this whole trying to make it look like it's something more. I want an investigation, and I feel that this is where the country sometimes, or the government, fails. We need to be able to understand why. But for me, when people have already drawn conclusions, even if you come up with the correct why, I saw somewhere somebody saying bring in Scotland Yard. Whatever the case, for me, I think right now it's to stand with the people of Emurua Dikir, to stand with the country. We've lost a good leader, and I hope that one day we'll be able to read his story, because he came from really humble beginnings, and celebrate the life that he had and the role that he played in dignified housing for the people of Kenya.
And as far as investigations into that chopper crash are concerned, makachero wakusanya ushahidi, wapelelezi wamaliza kukusanya ushahidi muhimu eneo la ajali la helikopta kule Nandi. Ni habari yenye kwenye ukurasa wa pili wa gazeti la Taifa Leo. Makachero kutoka kwenye DCI wanaendelea na kazi zao. Yes, Emurua Dikir MP, the late Joanna Ngeno, will be buried this Friday in Narok County, but today family and friends will be meeting at the Nairobi Baptist Church for a requiem mass this morning. and most of the members here will be attending that one. I think it's time we take a look at some feedback before we come for our final comments now. What are people saying online? Because now we need to finalize our discussions. There's one more headline we need to look at here, and that has to do with Sifuna. Sifuna has remained in the headlines, incidentally. But there is a very interesting headline on the front page of the People Daily.